All right, today's video, we're going to talk all things immune system, and this is such an important topic because it is tied into just about every single health condition, symptom that you can imagine. So if you get on the right track with how to take care of and support your immune system, you're going to go in the right direction. Before we get into that, if you're already a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to me, my name is Dr. James Null. I'm a chiropractor who quit doing functional medicine years ago because it is nothing more than an expensive wild goose chase that ultimately doesn't heal anything. I found medical medium protocols in 2016, have never looked back. Now I coach others on how to implement medical medium protocols for their issues. And I understand that not everyone is willing or able to do a coaching program. So I do want to put out some free content here. So let's get right into it. Let's go through everything you need to know, getting started with the overview of the immune system. So here's a bunch of stuff that's just it's not true. It's not helpful. It's actually harmful with things you hear about your immune system. So things we're talking about today, if you have any type of autoimmune condition, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Hashimoto's, chronic fatigue syndrome, if you have inflammatory diseases like sarcoidosis, just general inflammation, this is applicable to all of those things. So right off the bat, we're going to jump right into some deep stuff here. The autoimmune theory is not true. Your immune system does not attack your body. It was never designed to do that. It's impossible for it to do that. This is where a lot of confusion comes from. And this is why so many people just get stuck on a lifetime of trying to manage their symptoms with meds, or even if they're trying to do it naturally, it's because they believe that their immune system is faulty. And that paints you into such a corner that is totally not necessary. Look, your immune system doesn't get confused. It's always working for you. It is going after a pathogen like Epstein-Barr virus, like strep bacteria. It's always fighting some bug. It's always doing exactly what it needs to do. And if you can remove that bug, then your immune system can kind of chill out. So right off the bat, that's one thing you need to understand about the immune system. It does not attack you. It is your best friend. Another false theory out there is your immune system, like if you're not sick, like your immune system must be like doing all right. Like you're not immune compromised. Every single person is immune compromised to some degree at this time on planet Earth because we're facing more pathogens, more viruses, more bacteria than ever before. And we are up against more toxic heavy metals, more chemicals than any before. They're all unavoidable. They're everywhere. So that should just kind of fuel you to do what needs to be done to best support your immune system at the end of the day. Another misconception is that, well, maybe this person's immune system is actually overactive, and therefore, like, we don't want to support it because it's already acting crazy. Look, the immune system can have too big of a response. That's true. But it only does that because it's depleted, it's worn down. That's the only reason. So your immune system always can use support. Always. Doesn't matter what condition, what symptom, could always use support. And then another misconception is that, well, people just kind of have mystery inflammation, and maybe it's from food, or maybe it's from, stress or something like that. Inflammation comes from one of two things. Either you have a trauma, so like you fall, you break a bone, or you get a cut, something like that. That will spur inflammation. Or, like we mentioned before, it's your immune system attacking a foreign invader, like a pathogen. Those are the only two things that cause inflammation. And guess which one most people are dealing with today? You didn't fall and hurt yourself, and that's why your thyroid's inflamed, right? It's because there is a foreign invader in the thyroid. That's what's happening there. So what's real? Like what are the useful pieces of the immune system that if you start to understand these and start to incorporate these principles, these can actually move you forward in your healing? Like we talked about, always support the immune system. All throughout the day, every day, there are tons of things that you can do, tons of choices that you will have available to you to make to support your immune system. So obviously, the more of those that you can learn how to bring in on a regular basis, the stronger your immune system is going to get. And that ultimately is going to lead you to where you want to go with your health and your symptoms. And again, your immune system's always working for you. You have to understand that. It's so important to develop that mind-body connection and know that your body is just maxed out. That's what it is. It's not that your body is failing you. It's that your body is up against more than you'll ever realize, and nobody taught you the right way to support it. That's all. Once you kind of take that in and accept that as the truth, unlocks a whole another level of healing right there. And then you actually start doing what you need to do. That's the combo. That's what we need to do. Your immune system is constantly battling bugs. There are hidden viral infections like Epstein-Barr, shingles, HHV, CMV, strep bacteria. There's so many bugs out there that your immune system is constantly up against that no doctor right now is going to tell you about. They don't know to look for them. But that's why everyone's dealing with all the poor health symptoms that they're dealing with. You go to your doctor or even your functional alternative doctor. They don't tell you anything about this stuff. It's not really on their radar yet. So another reason to always do what you can to support your immune system and all the toxins it's up against. So, like smelling someone's cologne or perfume or smelling gasoline or touching gasoline. When you think about your immune system, just picture white blood cells, lymphocytes, killer cells, T cells, all those guys and girls, right? That's what's doing the work in your immune system. And when they see a foreign invader, they go and they gobble it up to try to get it out of the body. So they're constantly going after viruses, bacteria in the body, but they do the same against toxins, toxic chemicals, toxic heavy metals. When those get into the body, they have to try to conquer those as well. So again, I can't stress this enough, but your immune system is up against a whole lot and it needs all the support that you can give it. So if you go like the traditional route or even like a functional medicine route, it's all about suppressing the immune system, kind of blaming the immune system. You play guessing games. It's like, well, your ANA is kind of like, it's kind of like on the border there. So like, maybe we'll just kind of, I don't know, we'll wait and see if this gets worse. And it's doing tricks. They're trying to do tricks with their immune system so that you feel less symptoms. And guess what? If you try to, just hide or just pretend like something's not wrong or just make it look a little different, we all know what the outcome is going to be from that, right? It's going to fester and it's going to continue to develop down that negative path that nobody wants to deal with. So there's a much better way. You want to get on a protocol, get on a plan that supports your immune system every single day. And there's a lot of components that go into it. But like just at a very high level overview, zinc. Just about everyone's deficient in zinc. It's not in the foods like it used to be because it's not in the soil. The immune system needs zinc. It's vital. Vitamin C is another thing that strengthens your white blood cells. It fights foreign invaders. We can all use a good amount of a good quality vitamin C every day. And then foods like fruits, vegetables, and herbs, the vast majority of those are going to be very healing. And they're going to have antiviral, antibacterial compounds and compounds that strengthen your white blood cells. So the name of the game is figuring out, okay, so pretty much everyone agrees like fruits, vegetables, herbs, like those are amazing for your immune system, amazing for your health. But then you get into this area where some people are saying, well, you can't have too much of that stuff, which is absolute nonsense, by the way. So you have to figure out how you can stack as much of this into your daily routine every single day as possible. And that looks different than what you're used to doing currently with food, right? Pretty much everyone, no matter what diet they're on, is focusing on protein, healthy fats, things like that, which those are not going to strengthen your immune system, believe it or not. They're just not going to do it. Everyone's afraid to go away from protein, but to get different results, you got to be willing to do different things. You also want to avoid troublemakers. So in that category, troublemakers, we're going to put in things like eggs, dairy, and gluten because those feed those foreign invaders like Epstein-Barr and strep. They keep them active. And the longer that they're active in the body, the more the immune system has to fight them. The more resources the immune system needs to use to try to battle those pathogens. It's up against, you want to avoid toxins as well. Like I mentioned, a couple of them: colognes, perfume, gasoline, scented candles. Now, some of these are unavoidable, but when you have the option to avoid them, they should be avoided if you're trying to heal and support your immune system. And then fight or flight hormones, stress. This is another one where everyone's going to have stress in their life. It's unavoidable. But if you have options where you can avoid that fight or flight hormone, that's going to also be useful for your immune system. So the outlook, when you're doing the right thing, when you're doing enough of the right things, and this is a very big picture thing. There's so much that goes into kind of like really getting on a solid plan to do everything you can for your immune system. But even once you're doing everything you can, some symptoms, some cases, you're going to respond really quickly. When you're shutting off that fuel source to those pathogens and you're strengthening your white blood cells, you can start to see at least some of your symptoms turn around pretty quick. Now, there are other situations where they're just more severe, right? And those are going to take longer. But no matter what, you always want to play the long game here, because it's not like you can do this for a month or two and your symptoms get better, and then you can go back to living the life that you were before and expect not to have the same consequences, right? I know nobody wants to hear that, but that's the reality. But if you do this the right way and it starts to make sense to you, you can build a very enjoyable life that also supports your immune system. It's not a miserable existence. I've been living like this for 9 years. It's great. So you want to play the long game. You want to learn how to always keep your immune system up, because we're constantly exposed to new things, and you want to, not let these things that are inside everyone's body, like toxins and pathogens, don't bring them back to life with the decisions that you make with food. If you do that, you can keep yourself out of a lot of hot water, and you can get to a really, really good place with your health. So this is just a quick overview of the immune system. That's the name of the game: killing off the foreign invaders that keep your immune system so overworked, so tired, trying to cleanse out as many toxins as you can from your body, and strengthening your white blood cells. That's the formula. That's the game plan. How you execute it can look different person to person, for sure. There's no cookie cutter approach here, but that's the big picture idea. All right, guys, that's it for today.